The night air over the Strait of Hormuz exploded with the roar of heavy military engines as the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, launched a sudden aggressive raid from the shadows, locking their targets directly onto the merchant tanker. Before the unsuspecting crew could even comprehend the danger, heavily armed IRGC commandos stormed the decks, their automatic weapons catching the faint glint of the stars. In a matter of minutes, the military might of the IRGC had completely seized control of the ship, striking a terrifying blow right in the middle of one of the world's most vital economic choke points. The ship trapped in the crosshairs of this high-stakes military operation was the MT Riah. On paper, it was a modest oil tanker flying the flag of Panama, but its true value lay deep inside its massive steel hull. The tanker's belly was filled to the brim with thousands of tons of high-grade, incredibly valuable Emirati diesel, managed by a company based in the United Arab Emirates. For the ordinary commercial sailors on board, this journey was supposed to be a routine run through local coastal waters. They knew the region was a geopolitical powder keg, but they never expected to find themselves staring down the barrels of elite IRGC commandos on a quiet, ordinary night. Inside the ship, completely cut off from the world, were 12 foreign crew members. The majority of these men were professional merchant sailors from India, individuals who had left their homes thousands of miles away to work hard labor on the high seas. They were not soldiers or politicians. They were ordinary fathers, brothers, and sons trying to earn a living. Now, they were directly in the line of fire, surrounded by masked men with automatic rifles, their fates hanging entirely in the balance. As the sun had set hours earlier, painting the sky in deep shades of crimson and purple, the MT Riah had been pushing forward with a steady, comforting rhythm. The heavy hum of its massive engines signaled a normal night at work, and the watchman on the bridge kept a close eye on the radar screens, monitoring the surrounding traffic. But the IRGC had been tracking them from the coastline, waiting for the exact moment the slow-moving tanker ventured into the narrowest, most vulnerable stretch of the strait. When the strike came, it was fast, precise, and completely overwhelming. The moment the IRGC boarding party took the bridge, the digital world lost track of the vessel. One of the very first commands barked by the armed guards was to cut the ship's vital lifeline to the outside world, the automatic identification system. This transponder constantly broadcasts a ship's position and speed to global satellites, allowing maritime security to track it in real time. With the flip of a switch, the MT Riah's digital signal blinked out. On international tracking maps, the icon representing the tanker simply froze and vanished, turning a massive steel vessel into a ghost ship in a matter of seconds. Back at shipping headquarters and in naval command centers across the globe, red flags immediately went up. A total communications blackout in these highly contested waters almost always points to a hostile takeover. Hours stretched into days with nothing but agonizing silence from the captain and crew. While families panicked and maritime analysts scrambled for answers, a terrifying nightmare was unfolding on the lockdown vessel. The IRGC forces forced the helmsman to turn the heavy steering wheel away from its original destination, redirecting the bow straight toward the Iranian coastline and forcing the tanker to anchor near the heavily fortified Keshm Island. As the ship sat anchored in the restricted military zone, the true ordeal for the 12 crew members began. They were confined to the hot, cramped quarters of the captured tanker, surrounded day and night by armed guards. They had no idea what the outside world was doing to save them, or if they would ever step foot on dry land again. For weeks, their whereabouts remained restricted to this high-security naval outpost off Larak and Keshm Islands, serving as silent bargaining chips in a massive geopolitical standoff. When the news finally broke to the public, it triggered an international media frenzy. The IRGC released a statement claiming they had seized the vessel because it was involved in an illegal diesel smuggling ring, using the excuse of law enforcement to justify the aggressive capture. But for the ordinary crew members trapped under armed guard, the political excuses mattered little. They were caught in a dangerous game of maritime chess, surrounded by foreign military forces in a heavily guarded zone. Eventually, under intense diplomatic pressure from international governments, the captors began to break the silence. In a wave of tense negotiations, 9 of the Indian crew members were finally released from the island outpost and allowed to fly back home to their families in New Delhi. escaping the psychological nightmare. The remaining 3 crew members, including the ship's captain, were held behind in Iranian custody under lock and key, forced to remain on the vessel to face legal interrogation. The raid on the Mount Riah stood as a chilling demonstration of the IRGC's willingness to flex its muscle on the open ocean, proving just how quickly a routine voyage can transform into a lingering hostage crisis under the shadow of sudden military force. If you enjoyed this video, please show your support by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with your friends. Stay tuned for more content coming your way soon.